Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining this new office hours. I'm Andoni, and we have other members of the Prowler team here. So we are going to start with our third office hours, I think it is. So for today, we have uh, Alan talking about how we modernized our Prowler UI and how we used AGENTS.md for that. What we have new for our latest release that we finished yesterday, the 5.14. And also part of that will be a quick demo about our Infra code provider in Prowler Cloud, because it's a little bit different than the other ones. It looks like our usual cloud platform providers, but this one has a bit of differences as is based on code. So let me share my screen. And of course, any question, just ask in the chat. And of course, we will have time at the end for more questions if you want to. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alan, are you here already? Do you want to start with your part?
If you want, you can start. I'm
Okay.
preparing a little bit of surprises here.
Ooh, okay, we love surprises. Okay, I will go fast. Please, team, let me know if there is any question because I don't have the chat on the screen right now. So if there's any question, please let me know. So, okay, release 5.14, we have a lot of new things. First of all, Lighthouse AI now supports multi-LLM support. Let me show you how that looks like. Now, instead of just having the OpenAI menu, you can configure Amazon Bedrock or other OpenAI compatible models, providers, sorry, like OpenRouter, and then you can choose there which models to use. So now, if we go to Lighthouse AI, we have this very cool model selector, and you can choose from a lot of models if you are using OpenRouter, or if we scroll down, we have find them the OpenAI models. So you have also the OpenAI models. Just a warning with this, if the models are here because they are listed on OpenRouter, but not all the models will work with Lighthouse, because you know that different models are used for different things. So you can test and play with different models, and we will try to keep an updated list of the ones that work best. For now, we are recommending GPT-5, and before that we were recommending GPT-5, GPT-4o. So, but you can try. I think we also tried Grok 4.1 and was working pretty well. And if I don't remember that one is free on OpenRouter, so you can try that one. Okay. If we continue with the news, we have new providers, Oracle Cloud. Let me show you. I have here some already done scannings here. So you can see it looks like the other providers, but just a new one. So if you have Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, now you can secure it using Prowler. So very cool addition. There is others in the backlog that will be done soon. I think we can do some spoilers, but Cloudflare is there and it will be very soon. And also the infrastructure as code, I'm going to leave this one for the end, as I'm going to do a quick demo. And we also have MongoDB Atlas that currently is only in the CLI and the API, but it will be like full support on the next release. And of course, I guess you already seen that, but we have a really cool UI now. It's not only more beautiful, it's also performing better. I guess Alan will explain more about that later. But yeah, you can see that we have a new overview page, that it looks more cleaner and easier to use, and you can go like directly to the findings by severity. I think this is very useful. Okay. So let me show you the Infra code scan. I have here some scans already done, but let me show you how it looks like when you add a new one. You have here the repository URL. Let's choose Prowler, for example, and we have some CloudFormation and Terraform there. Okay, and we can do demo. Okay, if the repo is private, you can add your token here. As this one is public, we don't need it. And then run scan. Okay, and now it's on the queue, so to don't waste time waiting for that, let's see one of the ones that it's already finished. We can see here that it looks like the typical Prowler finding, but in the region, we have the branch for the repository. We also have the name of the file that is affected in the finding UID and the line. And here in resource details, we have a very cool link to go directly to the repository. So for example, for this finding that is security groups should not allow restricted egress access, we can see that directly goes to the file. So we can see the line that is affected. In this case, we should be using like data with our existing VPC block, but this is obviously intended to be exposed to the internet. Okay. And obviously we will tell you like which kind of file is the one affected. And this is using Trivia underneath. So if you go to Trivia page, you can see what providers it enables the scanning. But here we have the list like Terraform, CloudFormation, Kubernetes manifest, Docker files, Helm charts, and it even detects secrets. I think we have an example here of some hard-coded credentials. If we go to the file, we can see that, well, there is some credentials here. Obviously, those are fake. Don't try them, but yeah. And more news. Okay, we have more support for Prowler ThreatScore. We added Kubernetes support, and we also the PDF download that I already have here. So you can have your Prowler ThreatScore report directly generated on PDF. So this is very useful to tell your boss all the things that need to improve in your Kubernetes clusters. And we also added the reporting for the ENS and the NIS2. So you can go to the compliance page and just check it. And I already told with Pedro that he's not here today because he's with Tony speaking at a conference and he will prepare a threat score session for the next office hours. So stay tuned for that. And I think those are the most important highlights. We have, oh, this one is very cool. It's not maybe the most important, but it's very cool that you have now here the latest updates. So you can see also if we have an incident or a new release, you can see it directly from the Prowler UI. So I think it's very, very useful. And for the ones that ask about it, we already support ARM images in Docker Hub. This was thanks to a contributor. So thanks, Paco. Um, I think that's it for the release. We obviously added some checks and some things that are hard to show here, like how we are improving the check metadata. But if you go to the Prowler Hub, you can see that we are standardizing how the checks are done. So we are improving like the context and the language. And we also have a new section that is the check of the day that will highlight a check every day. And I think that's it. I went very fast because I know you all want to see Alan and the agents.md part. So, any questions? Use the chat. Oh, I think there's no questions.
Nothing
So,
at all?
no problem. We can have all the questions at the end. Okay, so go ahead. The star guest of the night, Alan,
Yay.
go.
Okay, everyone. Hello. So, give me just a second. There we go. Let me see if everything is working. Because as you can see today, I look different, right? I look better with a better microphone. And that's because I'm using my personal computer that I use for streaming. So, I have a lot of things to show you. And that's great. Give me a second. Okay, let me share my screen. Pa-pa-da-pa-pam. There we go. Now I can see it. Okay. Tell me when you can see.
All good. We see the CLI.
Yes, the CLI. Exactly. That for me is also my coding template. Okay. I use everything here. So I use some BIM. So again, sorry for that, but not so sorry. Today, I'm going to show you a lot of stuff that we have been working on the UI. It's pretty much a lot. Okay. We changed everything. For the last couple of releases, we have been working directly into improving different parts of the application. One of the parts is the speed of the app, how it builds, how it performs. So, first, if you are a Prowler user, please tell us, give us a feedback. How do you see the application? How do you feel the application? Okay, it's easier to work with. So, in these aspects, you're going to see here that we have different folders. Okay, we are now going to talk about the UI part, of course, the best part of everything. And inside the UI, we have been working a lot trying to improve stuff. So, what have we improved? First of all, we have the latest versions of React. Okay, if I search for it, there we go. We have React in the, let me see here, version 19. So we have upgraded the version to React to the latest one. But that's not all, because that's great. It gives us a lot of new hooks that we can use to improve and to play with. But in reality, it gives us another option. And this option, well, in this case, are two options are, first of all, we are using a new React compiler. As you can see, it's a release candidate. It's not even the final one, but it's super stable. It works really well. And what this React compiler does is that, well, as you know, if you go to the application or to any React application, you're going to see that you have to use things like use Memo, use callback, those such stuff. But we don't need that anymore. With React compiler, everything is more performant on the go. Why? Because React is being compiled in this new version that has been done from the ground, okay? And it automatically detects the performance, what it should do with memory. And that's why it's so important. This means that we don't have to use, for example, use callback anymore. No, there are things that we need to still use, like, for example, use callback. When we have, for example, a use effect that has a dependency array, and inside the dependency array, we are using a method. For example, okay, if we don't want that method to trigger a lot of use effects, perfect, then we can use a use callback. So it's great because everything is being automatically used. But again, this is something that we had to work with. We had to understand how it works and then try to apply it. Apart from that, that's not the only thing, because again, if I search for next, you're gonna see, give me a second. Okay, next is also upgraded. We have the version 15. So we are right now until, well, in a little bit, we have to upgrade it again. in the latest version. The latest version is going to be the version 16. So again, be ready for any kind of notification from our side when where we're going to show, and again, we're going to inform all the changes. But apart from that, as um, Antoni has shown, we have a new UI. Yay, that's perfect. Yeah, there has been a lot of work. A lot of work. We now use the latest version of Tailwind. So we have Tailwind in the layer in the latest version. That means that if, for example, you go into the global SCSS, you're gonna see this. This is the new theme that Tailwind in the latest version provides, and here you have the latest Prowler theme that we have been working with the design team a lot to improve, to iterate, and to implement in the application. But not only this, there's more. There's always more. If you also go into, for example, the graphs, we have a lot of graphs. Oh yeah, we have new graphs, and some of them have been worked from zero. Okay, we have been bring them from the ground up. So all this graph you're gonna be finding here has one thing in common, and it's amazing. You're gonna see. You're gonna see. For example, I going for the radar. Yeah, we have a new radar that is amazing. You're gonna see and some things that we're working on, but you're gonna see that it comes from one particular aspect, ChatCN. Okay, I don't know if you guys are related to ChatCN, but it's amazing. Okay, is the new, let's say, yeah, UI framework from Versal that we've been working in the last couple of months. Well, we used it before, but now we are trying to use like everything from ChatCN, and ChatCN has graphs. So again, we're trying to support everything with ChatCN. That's why, for example, if you go into ChatCN, we have a folder, components slash ChatCN, and here you're gonna see that we have everything done from the ground up again with ChatCN. Here, for example, we have cards, but we also have buttons, batches, combo boxes, drop downs, selects, separators, skeletons. Okay, skeletons for loading and keep things in place. Tabs. Well, we are improving day by day all the UI elements that we're currently using through the application, using again the latest technologies, everything that is in our hands to bring the best to Prowler. Okay, everything. But now you have to think about something. I'm saying a lot of features, right? A lot. That's where the AI comes into place. You're also going to see through Prowler that we have these beautiful files. These are the AGENTS.md files. This one is from, as you can see here, from the UI. Okay, let me do something to clear things up. There we go. So this is from the UI part. And what are you going to find here? You're going to find how we work with Prowler. Okay. Well, in this case, how you code Prowler. These are all the aspects related to, let's say, the behavior or the culture on the front end side that we're expecting from any kind of contribution. And I'm going to show you something later that is going to blow your minds, I'm more than sure. But first of all, you're going to find that this file is really, really, really small. It only has 200 lines of code, and this is the core, the skeleton of everything we do. And why is only 200 files? Because when you work with LLMs, for example, in this case, we work a lot with Cloud Code, you can use AGENTS.md as a way of telling how to work with, right? But the issue is that there's a phrase that says the most context you bring into an LLM, better it's going to work. But that's a lie, because if you bring a lot of context, then the LLM can get a little bit crazy. It doesn't know what to use, when to use it. And again, it starts to hallucinate a little bit too much. That's why 200 lines or less is the best one. So what do we do? Normally, people creates this agents.md file, but they created using human language. And in this case, you're going to see that it's really, let's say, raw, right? If I read this, is everything almost in only one line and trying to save space. Everything is not as readable for the human, but because the agent is not a human, I wanted to read everything as fast, as efficient as possible using the less amount of lines of code. That's the idea. So everything we do in the application is just declared here for a computer to read. That's the main idea of everything. Okay. So, for example, instead of having a huge description of how, for example, to work with components, where do I have to place a new feature component or let's say a button component, what do I have to do? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say, if you have a new feature UI, perfect. Place it here. Okay, that's it. Nothing more. It's using only one feature. Perfect. Then you're going to create a folder called feature. Inside, you're going to have that feature and then the components. You use it in more than two. Perfect. Then components here. That's the main idea. Okay, fast, efficient, bam. That's what we need. That's what we want. And again, please, everything is on the repo. Okay, take advantage of this being open source because everything is here. But let's say that this is a little bit too much for now. Okay, this is a little bit too much. You want more. You want to have automatically, okay, every single one of these rules being implemented. No worries, because we created the first and only, because I haven't seen it anywhere else, the first and only pre-commit hook with Cloud Code, okay, with AI. So normally, let's talk a little bit about what is a pre-commit hook. A pre-commit hook is a script that you're going to run every single time you're going to do a commit. That's perfect, right? Yeah, amazing. If you have a code that is a little bit, where scripts or processes that are a bit too much, then you can use them on the post commit hook. That's normally, for example, for end-to-end testing. But in this case, what do you normally do? We can find it right here, okay? You can run scripts like npm run health check. This is just going to run the linter, run the building, okay? You're going to see right here, you can run the build. That's perfect. And this is also going to run the linting, the TypeScript check also. So again, there are just scripts that you're going to use to try to get a little bit of quality, right, in your code. But what happens on the culture side? What happens with where the, for example, the folders are placed? What happens if you use towing and you don't use, for example, we have a method that is to merge and resolve conflicts inside towing that is called CM. Okay. And well, what happens if you don't use it? If it passes the TypeScript check or the linting check, that's it. You're done. And that's not the idea. So what we created is this. We are going to grab everything that is on the commit that you want to create. Then we're going to find all the files, okay, all the files that are logic files, that TSX or GSX. Then we are going, and this is amazing. I'm so sorry. I'm too proud of this. So we are going to send all these files with this prompt, telling it to analyze the agents.md file that I just showed you. And apart from that, check these super important rules for us to see if everything works correctly as we want it. So how do you use this? Super simple. Just go into your environment file and you only need to create this variable, code review enable, and put it to true. That's it. Have it Cloud Code installed in your application, sorry, in your terminal. And that's practically it. You can use your Cloud Code subscription right now, if even it's Pro, Max, whichever you want, the model that you want to use, as you would normally do, and that's it. Create a commit, and this is going to run everything for you inside the pre-commit hook. Okay, so this is a little bit of things that we have been working on. As you can see, we are not only going into the quality of the code, that is super important for us, but also on how we can improve as a community. How can we, again, take advantage of all these new tools that are pretty amazing. I love doing software engineering with AI, and we want you guys to also take advantage of them, and that, contributing with Prowler is a pleasure, not something like, like taking care of an illness. Okay, and that's it from my side, guys.
I do have questions for you.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. First one, it will be like continuing with the pre-commit thing. We are using Cloud Code because mainly you and Alex or your team are using Cloud Code, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess this will be easily extendable to other tools, right? Because at the end we are using the AGENTS.md. It will be just a matter of making the tool configurable.
Exactly, exactly. This is an experiment. It's our freeze approach. We are starting to use it in the team. We're starting again, trying to everyone inside Prowler to use it. It's also for anyone that wants to contribute and wants to test it out. Again, you can disable it. But the main idea is that, yes, we are going to try to create a plugin directly that we can inject into Husky or any other tool we are seeing. We're exploring solutions. And the idea is that is not only going to be for Cloud Code, but maybe it's going to also be for Codex or Perplexity, CLI that a friend is working on, or even, Gemini. So if you have installed in your terminal, you're gonna use it. That's the main idea.
Oh, I love it because I was doing that like the same, but manually. I had my own cloud command like review PR before sending the PR for review. So it will check these kind of things. Also, my second question that I think it will
Yes.
be interesting because it's something new. This is more like not philosophical, but on process or your point of view. So it's more like a personal point of question view is how do you iterate the agents, Andy? How do you think is the proper way to, because I think it's kind of easy
Yes.
to do the first version, but how do you keep that
Mm-hmm.
updated? Because it's like documentation. It's always hard to keep that updated, but I think documentation is more obvious. So how do you
Yes.
keep this updated without ending up with a 5,000 lines file? That it won't be useful.
Okay. Here for ours one, we have been working it a lot. Okay. We have one for each folder. For example, this one is for the root of the application. If again you go into UI, you're gonna see that we have one here. So we're trying to first of all bring sections across the application. Okay, if we have an UI section, that one is going to have an agent ND. So if you just open the UI because that's the part you want to work with, then the agent is going to use that particular file, or even if you're in the root, you can direct the agent to use which one you want. But the main idea here is again feedback, contributions. We accept contributions directly on modifying the HMMD. It's not like it's ours, okay? It can be something that people can contribute because it's just a file. You can bring a PR, bring an issue on how to iterate it. And for this, you have to test it. That's the first thing, right? We have to test this and how it works. This is not the first iteration. That's the other thing. If I, for example, I don't know if you have it, I have it here, but if I go through the file history, there we go. This is not the first version. Okay. we had a lot of iterations. If I go into the first one, you see it's totally different. We have examples, things more directed to the human, as you can see. So, well, 800 lines. Again, okay, this was huge. So every single thing that we do is to improve. And the way of improving is testing things out. There's no way around it, right? So in this case, because we're only, it's Alex and I working on the front end side, um, we have been touching, patching and seeing like, okay, I'm trying to do a commit and this thing is always telling me that I didn't do this, but I did. Okay, why? That's the first thing. Why is doing that? Then we try to understand the problem, and the solution comes directly into this file. Directly. If you see it here, for example, not only here, in the pre-commit, we also iterated a lot. Let me see where I have it. Where I have it. No, it's here because there we go. Over here, if you go into these rules to check that, again, these things are in the AGENTS.md file, is just to, you know, tell directly to the agent, please check this out. And all these rules have been iterated a lot, because most of them were, I'm going to say it, a pain in the ass. Okay. So they were not really great for the developer experience. So you have to also balance the user experience and the developer experience. There are things totally different. The user experience is created by smoothness, by quality, right? By performance. But in this case, the developer experience that is the base to bring all those things out has to be also great, has to be better smooth. And we can have, let's say, Prowler UI, I don't know, monster agent that is checking things out, is hallucinating, but that's not the thing. The issue that we're finding and we are fixing day by day is how we make a stable agent for pre-comments. Because it's not the same as running a script. The script, if you run it, you only have two possibilities. It works or it doesn't. And if it works, I'm going to run it 20 times, and the 20 times it's going to work. With an AI agent, well, it's a great depends. Okay, in the context, and if it starts hallucinating, anything. And that will be it. It's just iterating with the feedback and, being constant on improving it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think one last question on my side, and just because I know you love to nerd out about AI, is like, and I probably know the answer because we were talking about that. I think it was yesterday, but even the agents and it's a standard. Uh, I'm sure you have a favorite model for this kind of reviews.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the thing with AI, right? All the models are continually fighting with each other, trying to improve and being the best. That's the thing.
Yeah, the answer
Not
will be
long
only for
ago,
this week, probably.
yeah, exact a weekday. It really depends, right? But for example, Gemini is great about thinking, reasoning. It's amazing. It's even better than Codex or whatever you want. It's amazing, but not so great for software engineering. Cloud Code, it has been stable, one of the best, and it's fast. It brings great responses. For me, it works, but it's not the same on any aspect of software engineering. Because, for example, Codex takes a lot more time, but most of the time it has the better results. On the backend side, when where you don't need this separation of files, because if I go into any part of the UI, you're gonna see that, I don't know, if I go, for example, into the main application right here, and I start going into the files, everything is separated by files, and every single file is not more than 400, 500 lines, right? Okay, and that's because of the lazy loading of the front end part. But on the back end, you don't need this. Plus more, creating a lot of files is counterproductive to the developer. Okay, because you have to find things. So that's the issue when you have a model and you pass a 5,000 lines. I'm ill, sorry. I'm gonna try to spit. I'm sorry. And even good? No, see, yes, there we go. Perfect. I'm sorry. Anoni, go for it. Go for it. I lost
Yeah,
my voice totally, man.
don't worry. I think we were just finishing. I'm going to check if we have any other question in the chat. And if not, we will call it a day. I think it was very good session. It's the first time I think I saw like the technical issues with a human person. It's we are switching, like the code is now being done by machines and we are having technical difficulties. But let me check if I have something here. Okay, no, I think that's it. I'm just going, because I forgot it, I'm going to share the release notes in the chat because I forgot to do that earlier. And also I'm going to share the roadmap link so people can see what's coming next. And if there is no question, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Tim, for being here. Thank you, Alan, for the amazing presentation and amazing conversation about AI. It's going to be recorded so we can share it with people because I think it will be very useful for a lot of people. I I think I was just this morning talking with a friend about this. I was like, I will send you the recording because you couldn't attend, and I know people love it. So I think that's for today. And well, if you are going to Las Vegas, don't forget to try to find our booth in the AWS Expo because we will be there. And that's it. Thank you and stay secure. See you in the next one.
See you,
Bye.
everyone.